What has to be one of the great Thanksgiving weeks for Big Sills. I enjoyed it. I hope you did. You got a great chance to be with family and friends on Thursday, go through the weekend. College football, pro football. We're starting to see the teams that are starting to rise above on which teams are going to be the best teams. We're in that time frame now. There's no doubt you're starting to get a sense of what teams are going to be true contenders for the Super Bowl. As we always start the program out, Big Sills, and the next 4 hours is powered by our friends at BetUS. Big Eagle win. Oh, and by the way, first 15 minutes, please. Most important on spreading the word of the show. We got a record of 147 likes. We'd like to see if we can try to get that record by 15 minutes into the program, 147 likes. Please hit that like button, and all supers go to the top. I will not, from now on, we got a new rule here. When I'm doing my open here, unless it's a super chat, we are not deviating off that until we get through the open here. And I got an interesting take on yesterday's game with the Ravens and the Eagles. Hey, by the way, missed opportunities for the Ravens in that game. And it really came down once again, storyline-wise, to the Eagle defense and the Eagle offensive line. You know, if you look at the game itself, by the way, congratulations to the Eagles, because I do think that's a big win. 24-19. But if you really look at the win here, there's not one place in that game where Baltimore was dominated by them in any way, shape, or form. I thought Lamar Jackson did not play well. I think that had a lot to do with the defense. They were not really off their numbers at all in any way whatsoever. And if you want to say some of those yards at the end of the ball game were junk yards, they still held the Eagles at 250 yards in total offense. It's their second worst output of the year next to the Buck game, where they were held at 226. So at the end of the day, Baltimore, special teams-wise, and Lamar just didn't play well. And I do think that has a lot to do with what Vic Fangio has done with that defense. It's been a remarkable job here. And by the way, we just wrote down, I mean, we were talking about this on the postgame show yesterday. At the end of the day here, the Ravens averaged 426 yards in total offense. Well, the Eagles only held them 50 yards off their total. The Eagles, they averaged 389. Baltimore held them 140 yards under their total. Passing, 247 is what the Ravens offense had. The Eagles were held to 77 yards under their passing. Now they're down at 27th in passing in the league, by the way. They had 170 yards rushing in the ball game. Well, it's 14 yards off their total, so it really wasn't anything they did. Now, again, I get the last series, but once again, they were pretty good on both sides of the football. They were just shitty decision-making going on by Lamar Jackson in that game. And I do think, again, that has to be something that you look at with how Vic Fangio schemed him up. I think Vic had a great day, is what I'm saying here. There's nowhere really in his game yesterday where you went like this. Well, the Eagles blew the Ravens off the field. They didn't. Not in any way, shape, or form. I mean, they got in, stayed to their identity, didn't turn the ball over, and played smarter football. That's exactly how you win championships. This is not a rip. This is kudos. This is how you win it. This is how you win it. Again, the Ravens did a great job defensively. Held them to their second worst total. I mean, Derrick Henry didn't have a bad game. And by the way, if you think that Jordan Davis had a great game, and you think giving up 170 yards in rushing and 5.2 yards clip is a good game, well, you and I have a different observation about how you play good football. I mean, and once again, I think he's a good player. I don't think he's an exceptional player. Okay, I just don't. I think Jalen Carter is absolutely a sensational football player. I think actually, too, Josh Sweat is having a fantastic year. But the star of that team is clearly the coordinator in what he's doing. We're going to get to the takeaways here, but again, the Ravens, they were pretty much on the number on where they were. A little bit here, a little lesser. They had 71 plays everywhere across the board. They dominated the football game except the scoreboard. Again, that's a Raven issue, not an Eagle issue. You can't make poor decisions with your quarterback in big games like that. That's a big game failure by Lamar Jackson. Lamar failed in that game. He was poor. He had a poor game. That's one of the worst. I mean, that game, the Cleveland game, if you watch those games, you go back and you watched it this morning like I did. He did not play well in that game. And I think the decision-making, that was forced on him by Vic Fangio. Yo, Zander, who the blue hell is this impersonator? Where the fuck is Big Sills? All big love in there. Hey, Eduardo, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. By the way, like I said, in the open for the first 15, no one's being read until we get the open out and we get to our takeaways. We're going to get to that here in a second. But the defense and the O-line and Barkley were once again the storyline here. So here's the takeaways. By the way, please hit the like button. There's no question that it's a takeaway game for the Eagles in how you look at them when it comes to winning a significant game. This is probably the best game that they have had in 2 years. That, to me, is the most significant win that you take the most away from. Why? They were simple. They didn't throw the ball. They played clean football. They rallied. They came from behind. It was well coached all across the board. I mean, I thought, if anything, Baltimore panicked. I thought they panicked. The defense, without a doubt, was the story in this ball game against Baltimore. Baltimore moved the ball at will. They had 372 yards in total offense. Like I said, 50-some-odd yards off their normal number. I mean, they moved the ball at will. Wasn't like they stopped them. I thought Lamar, again, made poor decisions. And once again, that had a lot to do with Vic and his defensive pressure that he put on him. Like I said, 372 yards of offense, and they really did a nice job. And by the way, once again, I thought the Raven defense, they held the Eagle offense in check, 250 yards in total offense. Okay? I mean, what's the game come down to? 7 points that were on the board that Tucker missed. Different game if the holds were called. A different game if the field goal kicker makes the field goals too, Abe. They win. They win the ball game. Ravens special teams were atrocious. They were atrocious in the game. The defense dictated a lot of the indecision that Lamar Jackson had in this ball game. Please hit the like button. There's no doubt about it. Story in the ball game: defense, O-line, Saquon Barkley. And if you want to go there, coaching. Coaching did a nice job in this game. Very good win. Again, when we go to the numbers here and we go to what Baltimore did in this game, this comes down to Philadelphia not doing things that are going to get them in trouble to lose ball games. It was a smart game. It wasn't a dominating game. They didn't dominate Baltimore. Where? Where in the world did you dominate Baltimore? In what aspect? Baltimore turned the ball over on poor, bad decisions by the quarterback, all dictated by the Eagle defense. By the way, what I can't stand is already happening. What I'm saying to you right now is, what are you talking about, most of you? Let's go to the numbers. No one's ripping anybody. First downs, Ravens 24-17. Total plays 71-74. Eagles ran 54 plays in this ball game. That is the season low. Total yards, Ravens 372. The Eagles were held to 252 yards in total offense. Passing 112. The passing offense is horrible in Philly. They're 27th now. Do you understand? There's only 5 teams in the league worse than you in throwing the ball. Rushing, you had 140 on 33 carries. The Ravens had 166 on 32 carries, at 5.2 a carry. The Eagles had 4.2 a carry. Time of possession, Ravens had the ball obviously longer because of the plays were so significant on their side of the ball. They had the ball 20 more times than what Philadelphia did. This came down to the defense once again doing a spectacular job on that side of the ball and turning the ball over. Just a great job. Okay? I mean, the Eagle offense was not great. And anybody who thinks the Eagle offense with 250 in total offense was great, you're out of your mind. Ravens dominated the Bills with only 13 completed passes. Hey, dude, I'm not saying anything negative here. I mean, the Ravens held you to 250. They made poor decisions. The quarterback did not play well. Here's to the point even more. Hurts 11-19, 118 yards. Lamar was 23 of 37, 237, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Derrick Henry, 19 carries, 82. Barkley had 23 carries, 107. Both guys 5 yards a carry. I mean, Saquon was and is having an MVP-type year. Hurts ran the ball 9 times for 29. Those were more significant than even his passing numbers, in my opinion, because one of them resulted in a TD. Lamar had 8 carries for 79, and I thought he should have ran more. By the way, so did his mom. AJ, 5 catches, 66 yards. Those are impactful 66. He cannot be covered. Okay? He cannot be covered. By the way, the Ravens defense, they held you down. Your second worst offensive output. You averaged 390 yards in total offense. They held you to 250. Where did you dominate them? I must have missed that. Again, the defense caused the turnovers. Did a great job when they had to. Mark Andrews is some ball player. Boy, that tight end was absolutely sensational. 6 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. Boy, he can play, man. I thought Goddard showed up a little bit. 3 catches, 35 yards. He had himself a touchdown, showed some great hands in there. Roquan Smith was great in the game, 11 tackles, had 2 TFLs, had a half a sack himself for the Ravens. And Zach Bond just continues to play amazing football. 13 tackles, half a sack. Jalen Carter held every single play in the middle. So again, my takeaway, even with the numbers and what we saw, they did exactly what they were coached to do. They went in, ran the ball, didn't make mistakes. And that's championship football, man. That's old school Dallas Cowboys, Emmitt Smith, Super Bowl winning type formula right there. It is. Again, the other team was forced into mistakes, and they did make a ton of them. The Ravens did not play well in that game. That's not an Eagle issue. That's the Eagles forcing the issue. Okay? That's them forcing it. Did you see Josh Allen? They're winning it this year. Oh, we'll get to him. I know he was sensational last night. In the 10 feet of snow last night, he was sensational. Vaughn is a first-team All-Pro right now. I don't know if he'll get the votes, but he'll make one of the All-Pro teams. For sure, he'll make he'll make first or second or third team All-Pro. I doubt first team because that's not how it works. But who knows, man? They may change the formula here. Okay? So again, what have I said negative? I see some of you in here crying. What if we said negative? You went in, you took care of business. You forced the team into making mistakes. You don't really have to play A-plus football. And you got out of there with a significant win. And get this, you did it all by not dominating them. In theory, they dominated you. But you forced them into mistakes. There's nowhere in the game where it shows that you did dominate them. Where? Where in the game did you see this? Except in this. Situational turnovers, sacks, bad passes, good defensive secondary play, pressure, all played a factor in this game. Hey, guys, I'm not going to tell you something that everyone else is telling you. This is how you played that ball game. You played a smart game, and you put an MVP candidate on the ropes last night where he was making critical mistakes. That's what happened. Okay? That's what happened. They should have fed Henry more. Lamar should have ran more. Hey, shoulda, woulda, coulda. All dictated by Vic Fangio. All dictated by what he did. By the way, please give me a total on the likes right now. We're 16 minutes in. We'll start reading some of your stuff here in a second. It's a great win. And I'll say it one more time for some of you hard-headed people. It's the most significant win you've had in 2 years. Can you give your updated defensive rookie list? That's tomorrow, my friend. We'll do that. Allen is amazing, but it doesn't win Super Bowls. It's all or nothing because they're a quarterback with less talent. Hey, Allen is amazing, but if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, it's all for nothing because they are quarterbacks with lesser talent. Win, so hold his feet to the fire too, Sills. Yes, Ace, absolutely. By the way, Allen has just won his 5th straight AFC championship and or 5th straight AFC East title, which puts him in a position now where those guys can play for home field advantage. They've got the tiebreaker over Kansas City, so that's yet to still play itself out. But Josh is having a hell of a season. One guy right now for the most valuable player award. Zander, I missed some super chats here. Want to make sure we get all the supers in. I appreciate you guys here, especially on this Football Monday here. We broke the like record, Sills. We did? Fantastic. That means we're past 147 in the first 5. That's great. Fantastic, guys. Our D-line for sure dominated their O-line. How can you say that? Where? They had 5 yards of carry. Nick, 5 yards of carry is dominating? I don't know what you think dominating is. So every time the Ravens ran the ball, they had 5 yards a clip. That's dominating? I don't think so. I don't think so. That's not dominating. That's getting knocked on your ass. Every time the offensive guys for the Ravens ran the ball, they ran it at 5 yards of play. That's exactly what happened. Seals, you need to stop with all the effort. It's not stats. That's what happened in the ball game. By the way, if you want to say some of those calories at the end of the game, okay, well, they held you in check. I feel bad for C-Mac. He's out for the season. True. That's the Jew. What's Vic's address? We all need to send him a gift. Absolutely, man. He has had the Coach of the Year job, boy. I'll tell you, man, that is absolutely one whale of a job. That defense is real. I am there. That defense is real. Hey, look at this. Look at Slagger. Slagger, where do you think that you had the advantage in that game over Baltimore? Where? Where in the world do you think you had the advantage? If the Eagles had 70 plays, well, you should have had more plays. Your defense, the Ravens defense held you to 54. That's called getting shut down. That's called getting shut down by the Ravens defense. And the offense stalling. And that first quarter that you can't get out of your own way. Where in the world do you think, and when some people in here are saying dominated physically, where? I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I think there were 2 physical football teams out there. I can't get enough of seeing that tackle by Coop. I'm going to make this point to you guys, and I know this is going to come off to some of you not great, but I think Cooper DeJean has had a bigger impact on the Philadelphia Eagle defense than what Quinyon Mitchell has. I know they're completely different positions, but there just seems to be a different energy with him out there. And the hits that he makes, the team gets jacked up by him. I think he's made a bigger impact than Quinyon Mitchell. And Quinyon Mitchell, it's not a rip. He's a heck of a ball player. But I think this kid, Cooper DeJean, I think he's made a massive impact on that team. And he has definitely brought an energy and a sauce to that side of the football. Okay? And again, am I saying this? Well, Q's not. No, I'm not there at all saying that. I am not at all saying that. Okay? I'm not. I just like that energy that player gives. And he is everywhere. He's almost like a old school rover back. When, he's part linebacker, part safety. Guys, please hit the like button. Seals, we dominated the Ravens in the third quarter. They had 9 yards. Sounds like domination. What do you say? I thought they did take care of the third quarter very well. Yes. Keith. Yes. I think Keith, if you're saying that I think that the Ravens dominated Philly. No, I think it was a dominated game by both sides of the ball. I just think that the defensive coaches for Philadelphia forced Lamar Jackson into poor decisions. Dude, this is better than this. It was a tough game. Okay? It's a tough game. Ravens got 70 yards in a TD in garbage time, and they held you to 250 yards, your second worst offensive output the entire game. Only the Buck game was worse. Nick, you want to go there? All right. They shut you down. You averaged almost 400 yards in offense. They held you to 250. Do you think the Ravens had a good day against your defense or against your offense? Do you think they had a good day? I mean, okay? You're missing my point here. Boys, some of you just don't want to listen. I'm going to do it one fucking last time for you ignorant imbeciles. It's the best win in 2 years. It's a significant win. Your defense forced Baltimore into poor decision-making. You get a great win. You didn't dominate. You did what you were supposed to. You never done. They shut you down. You took care of the football by not allowing them in the red zone. Here's where you won the game. They averaged 30 points a game. That's where right there, Vic Fangio with the bend but don't break, don't give up the big play. That's what won it. Poor decision-making by Lamar and awful special teams. If they convert on their special teams, they beat you. Handily, actually. I mean, but ifs, ands, and buts don't count in football. They took care of business. Fantastic. It's a great win. Okay? It's a great win. What's starting to happen here, by the way, we'll get to our game balls here in a minute. What's starting to happen is you're starting to see one style of football take out varieties of styles. That's what's happening here. The Eagles are not changing what they're doing. Okay? They're not changing. They're not throwing the ball more. They're throwing the ball even less. Hurts has done an okay job. He's made plays. Not a ton of them. And by the way, Nick, stop fucking trying to lie and oversell something. The guy's so far removed from an MVP candidate, it's night and day when you're talking about some of the performances that are going on this year. The most important thing that Hurts has done is get out of Saquon Barkley's way. That's not a rip. Troy Aikman had to get out of Emmitt Smith's way. That's not a rip. If one thing leads you to a Super Bowl, egos have to be put at the front door. And that's what's happened. By the way, I think there's a lot of love, but for Nick to go out of his way and over the top to oversell something that's not true. There's only 5 teams in the league with a worse passing game than the Eagles. I mean, only 5 teams. He's down with where Carolina is in the passing game. But right now, you don't need the passing game to win ball games. Okay. And I disagree with a lot of people. Zander, I think John's on the page with me. You're going to run into somebody during the playoffs that you're going to have a passing game, and you don't have one. And you haven't had one all year. So, again, that's irrelevant to winning against the Ravens here. You didn't need a passing game. You absolutely didn't need one. And the defense continues to be the storyline. Okay? So why don't you criticize other teams like you do with the Eagles? Because I don't think a lot of other teams are close to winning a Super Bowl. And my show is based in Philly. This is why. Hey, wait, so you want me to make you feel better? So like if Josh Allen, here's a stat for you. If you want to go down that line, all right. Josh Allen last 4 years is 45-17. Got to win a Super Bowl. Nobody's won more games. 119 yards versus 32nd pass defense stinks. Josh Allen. Again, right now, I mean, they don't need a passing game. Sills, I agree on DeJean. He is extremely versatile and makes a huge impact. However, Q has blanketed the opposing WR1s and has virtually eliminated the targets. This makes Mitchell more feared. I say more important. And I said, I just think he's more important. But you talk about impact on the game and setting a tone. It just seems like, can I make a Bob? Would you be okay with me making this comment here? Once again, I think Cooper DeJean kind of reminds me a little bit of John Lynch. Okay? John Lynch was tone setter with the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense. That was one of the best defenses. Okay? One of the best defenses. So if I'm going to make a comparison on Cooper DeJean, I think it's more like John Lynch. Something like that. That would put him in that. Guys, please hit the like button. It would be something like John Lynch or like a Cam Chancellor kind of guy. Once again, I'm not going to have a fucking debate about fucking Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. There's no A.J. Brown and there's no Saquon Barkley in Buffalo. He's doing it by himself. Every single one of you idiots in here were telling me that Josh Allen would be exposed this year because Stephon Diggs is not there. He's actually better this year, and I told you he'd be better. Eagles dominated the second and fourth quarter. Ravens dominated first and third. Punter, MVP. My God almighty. Thrill. Great takeaway. How many times did the Eagles special teams pin the Ravens down inside the 5? What was so important in having to make them go the long distance of the field? Absolutely a critical part of that game yesterday was how good the Eagles special teams were sensational yesterday. Field goals made, pinning the Ravens down inside the 5. It was totally the defense and special teams that won that ball game. There is no question about that. Absolutely. There must have been 5 times that the special teams were held when it came to punting the ball down inside the 5. Zander, I think I missed a super chat. Thrill, that's a great takeaway. I think it's a blue one, Zander. Guys, please do me a favor and hit the like button. We appreciate it. Josh Allen versus, I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah, because apparently Sills thinks the offense is worse without Smitty. I think Smitty is absolutely a non-factor anymore in that offense. I mean, you're winning ball games. I didn't even know he was out there. I didn't even know he wasn't out there for second game of 8 quarters now. Didn't matter. Eagles versus Bills Super Bowl. So you're counting the Chiefs out, huh, Khalid? Guys, please hit the like button. I think the Bills still have to show me in the postseason. I'm not sold on them. Postseason-wise. They still have to show me they can beat the guy in Kansas City. Okay? They do. Seals, do you think about trading Smitty to pay the defense and get picks? Absolutely not. Dude, the contract that Devontae Smith has is absolutely sensational. It is a non-binder. He gave you a hometown discount. I have no intention. As a matter of fact, if I had to say anything about Devontae Smith, I would want Devontae Smith to retire an Eagle. There's absolutely no way would I do that. No way. Winning against good teams, being 10-2 and still getting better is a good position to be in. If they actually called the holding, there's no question, Sam. You could have called holding on Jalen Carter every single play. It's looking like another 22 rematch, potentially. Sills in his Hummer in San Juan Capistrano over the weekend. Dude is cool driving around Dana Point. I wasn't around Dana Point. I never leave my house. I don't really give a damn if we run 100% of the time. Barkley, Hurts, Gainwell, brotherly shove, unstoppable, once rolling. So far, can't deny that. Dan, all the national media said Jordan Davis played good. How many snaps did he have in the ball game? How many snaps? They had 5 yards of carry. I'm trying to figure this out. If Devin stays, Smitty stays. Ravens fumbled a lot. We could have had more points. No, they could have had more points if they. You want to go down that route? They could have had more points if they converted the 7 points. Quinion had a big hit on a tight end early in the game. I do believe it set the tone for our secondary. I don't believe he sets the tone for the secondary. Okay. So of the 71 snaps that Baltimore had, Jordan Davis played 23 snaps, and he played a great game. Okay. You and I look at it different. How many, hey, by the way, NS Wells, do me a favor. How many snaps did Jalen Carter play? Can you tell me? Fans have to stop giving Jalen Hurts a pass. The guy's awful. So now we have 8 offensive alignment blocking because Hurts can't throw the ball. NS, how many snaps did Jalen Carter play? Tell me how many snaps he played in that ball game. Okay. So he played 77 snaps out of 78. And Jordan Davis played 23. How do you come to that conclusion he played great? Where in the world do you, out of 78 total snaps, you say he had a great game playing 23? We have a different way of looking at shit. Okay? 71 to 72 snaps he played. And Davis played 23. Are you fucking high? I don't know. Maybe I was watching another game. The game was 24-12 until a garbage. Anthony, that's not what I'm saying. Anthony, I'm not saying a different game. I watched the Ravens go up and down the field, and I watched the Ravens shut down the Eagle defense, and I saw an Eagle defense that was so good it made Lamar Jackson play poor. What did you see? What did you see? Maybe, hey, tell me what you see, Anthony. Zander, I think I missed another super. Guys, all supers, I swear to you, go to the top. What do you think the RPO? I thought the RPO was awesome in the game against the Ravens. I saw it at least 4 times, and it was great. Hurts ran that thing great, that RPO. Henry had 5 yards of carry. Where was the run stuff for Day? That's what I don't know, Flexen. Guy played great. And Henry had 5 yards a carry. Or the Ravens had 5 yards a carry. I'm missing it. The Ravens as a team had flexing. The Ravens had 5 yards a carry as a team. 5-1, actually. Sills, how was Josh Allen the MVP runner with such elite talent? What talent? That's elite talent? Quentin Morris, Ray Davis, Mac Hollins. That's right. Samuel, who are those guys? I've never heard of fucking any of those guys. Sills, Davis had a couple of impact plays yesterday. He stood out at times. Okay. He stood out a couple times out of the 23 plays he played. Okay. Well, shit. He's a first rounder. I'm hoping. Sills, Milton Williams, Ajamu deserve more credit. These boys are legit. They are. They're playing really good. Okay? They're playing really good. I thought Henry was going to go for 125 at least. Eagles did a good job on him. They sure did. They absolutely sure did. Misleading stat, they got that run by Lamar with no time left. Charlie, what about them shutting down the Eagle offense then? You think 250 yards in total offense, 170 yards off your total? Quarterback was under his, and so was Barkley under his. I mean, you really think they played great offensively? Hey, defensively, they were sensational. Okay? Sensational. Here, let's do this. Let's show you just how good the Ravens defense played. Okay? Just a point here. Just the point here. Let's see here. We'll get to game balls here in a minute. All supers go to the top. Hang on. So the Rams. Eagles had 481. Washington. Eagles had 450. Dallas. Eagles had 375. Jacksonville. Eagles had 457. I'm not going to keep going back. Only to the Buck game. Ravens held you to 250. They did a great job. Okay? Again, the story is the defense, the O-line, and Barkley. And if you want to go here, Hurts out thinking Lamar. How many times did Lamar Jackson throw into triple coverage? Shit, man. It was even sometimes quadruple coverage. I thought he played shitty. I just totally thought he was all over the place. So most of those yards were away from Davis. When they did run at, dude, he had 23 reps out of 78 reps. How in the world do you get an assessment out of that playing 20 reps? Are you fucking nuts? Jalen Carter plays every snap but one. Almost all 78. And you're telling me you're taking away from a guy with 20 reps. He played great. Nobody in a room would ever think that played in the NFL. That guy with limited snaps. Hey, he played good, Sills. He had a couple good games. 5 yards a carry the Ravens had. All right. I mean, what do you want me to say here? By the way, again, this is not an opinion. He played 20 reps. He played 20 plays. Jesus Christ. The other guy on the other side plays 4 times as many plays. I mean, God, that's how you get it. Hey, the guy on the other side's playing 3 to 4 times more plays a game. I mean, what are you talking about? Hey, go ahead. Hey, he played great for 20 plays. Okay. Fantastic. Jesus Christ, you guys want to give kudos to things. You know, you give kudos to, you give it to that guy Carter and that guy Bond. Those guys are playing lights out football. Okay? Absolutely. So as I thought Harbaugh got going for it on 4th down, it was a stupid move. Dude, the Eagles forced all this stuff on them. They really did. They did a great job. Sills, love hearing your 99 Brown stories from time to time. He's one of my favorite players of all time. Who are your top 3 teams in the NFL as of now? You know, I usually do this. And by the way, Zander, let me read that other super, that 499 one that was just sent. Dave, thank you very much. By the way, please, guys, all supers go to the top. If the Eagles and Bills are in the Super Bowl, that would be insane tailgate. Oh, my God. Bills Mafia and the Eagle Nation would be absolutely insane. Yeah, I got Dave. Thank you very much, Dave. Top 3 teams in the NFL. Hey, when will you learn, old man? There's a way to win. The Eagles will exploit it. IQ and passing stats are not. They're not stats. They're trends. Kind of. Thank you, M. Reyes. Okay, kind of. I mean, hey, I thought Kellen Moore was brought in to improve your passing game. It's gotten worse. Top 3 teams. I think there's 4. I'm going to get the game balls out here in a minute. I think there's 4. Here are my top. Detroit, Buffalo, Philly, Kansas City. And here, let me do that again. Because I do think you have the advantage on defense. Why they refuse to call holding on Carter. Dude, I thought he was held every play. Your take on not having BG out there, how'd they do? I'll answer that, Abe, here in a second, okay? Let me do this again. Okay, I'm gonna redo that. I got Bills 1, Eagles 2, Detroit 3, Kansas City 4. The reason I think the Eagles are better right now is because the Lions have sustained too many significant injuries on defense. And I think both those offenses are kind of pushes. But the defense is definitely what's pushed the Eagles ahead of Detroit. They had a better week. I'm talking Philly. They had a better week. Plus, Detroit's got a big game coming up against Green Bay on Thursday night. Okay. It's not like we gave him some huge extension. His fifth-year option coming up will be $22 million. Are you paying him that, play 20 plays? How come Sileo doesn't make fun of Cooper DeJean for playing in the slot? Why would I do that? Makes them playing in the slot? I have no idea what you're talking about, dummy. Detroit should have lost to the Bears. That's why that coach got fired. Eagles have had injuries on offense. Devontae and AJ have both missed multiple games. Welcome to the NFL. Welcome to the NFL. What do you want? That's why the war of attrition in your roster and why your general manager has your roster built for a certain way so that you can sustain injuries like that. Welcome to the NFL. You're going to cry about referees and injuries. You're crying in the wrong place. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Okay? By the way, give me a like total, please. And supers go to the top. I can't thank you guys enough. Look, I know that some of you can't hear me. It's the best win. Watch this. I'm going to write this down for you. It's the best win in 2 years. Your defense is an incredible story. Your O-line's the best in football. Your running back is having a historic year. Okay? They forced Baltimore into shitty decisions. They didn't beat Baltimore up. Both teams are physical in that game. Thank you guys on the likes. It means a lot to me. We're not even at the end of the first hour. We already have almost 300 likes. You guys are tremendous. I would let Davis walk and draft young talent. There's no reason. You don't know what he's going to do yet. You have no idea what he is going to do. So, did you hear what I said? Okay, did you hear what I said? It's the most significant win in a year and a half. Your defense is the story. Okay? You did a great job of coaching this game. Not sure what else you want fucking from me. I don't know what else you want. I mean, Baltimore moved the ball and held you to a significant low this past game. Held you to 250. You weren't throwing the ball around the yard, and you weren't running it all over people. It's not what happened. You know, again, you can bring up the fact that they had 70 plays. They had 70 plays because they were sustaining drives. The field position that the punter and the Eagles special teams, they had a fabulous day. That's exactly what went on in that game. If you don't see it, you watched a different ball game. Stills talks all this shit on Friday before the game every week about how teams will do this and that against us. They did. They ran the ball well. They threw the ball horribly in the ball game. I mean, what am I missing here? What am I missing? Where were you dominant against the Ravens? Where? Where were you? Where did you have the advantage? Quarterback? No. Well, probably because of decisions. Zander, I missed the super. Dude, the defense was the thing. Dean, get to him. The defense is the story. Yes. 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 Here, you want to laugh? Look at this. Nick Sirianni joins Bill Belichick, Sean Payton, and Tony Dungy with 3 consecutive years of 10-2 or better. Okay. All those guys are Super Bowl champs. So let's see what Nick does. It'd be great. Let's see if he wins one. Okay? Because, quite frankly, Josh Allen's in the same boat right now as Jalen Hurts is when it comes to all the wins. 700 win percentage. This guy's won games. He's got to win a Super Bowl. He totally does. And by the way, whatever. I think they win in spite of that guy. Here's my game balls. By the way, I think the coordinators had a great day. An absolutely great day, I think they had. All right. So I'm going to go from 10 up. And I will tell you from 10 up my game balls. Okay? Here are my game balls. We were dominant in the scoreboard, no silver medal. Okay? Yeah. Defense did a great job. Absolutely dominant. Hey, right. Yes. Dominant in the scoreboard. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Just going to start off with Ravens defense game ball. You know, Senor, I think you need a timeout. For me, let's see here. I'm going to go from 10 up. Okay? I think I'm going to go from 10 up. All right? All right. Number 10. I think Isaiah Rodgers had a great game. I really do. Stepping in for Darius Slay, I thought he had an absolutely fabulous ball game. He gets game ball number 10. I think he played exceptionally well, and he made tackles. He did some good stuff out there, man. Number 9, I got Jakobi Dean. Continue to improve. Got nicked up a little bit in the ball game. I was a little concerned after that. Went right back in, started making plays again. Fantastic. Great stuff. Jakobi Dean is improving each and every single week. He's no longer a liability. He's starting to get reps, and he's starting to play fast. There's no doubt Vic Fangio has had a massive impact on his career. Number 8, you know, Nolan Smith, he showed up. He was not a liability out there. He played really well. No liability. I think he really did play well, and he's continuing to improve. I thought he set the edge all right. Number 7, game balls, Big Sills. The entire Eagle offensive line. All 5. By the way, who's more of a priority? Micaiah Becton or Zach Bond? Who's more of a priority if you're going to sign at the end of the year? Who would be more of a priority? Bond? Really? Bond. Sirianni outcoached Harbaugh. Sirianni never outcoached anybody. You mean Kellen and Vic. And Michael Clay. Not Nick. Nick doesn't have a job. Even if Hurts wins a Super Bowl, Sills will always hate. I don't know Jalen Hurts from a can of paint. I don't hate anybody. Keep both, Flexen says. So, Flexen, you're going to pay $15 million for Micaiah Becton, and you're going to pay another $15 million for Bond? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to pay $30 million. Are you letting Sweat walk then? Because they're not going to spend that kind of money on that side of the ball. Remember, there's a salary cap. And all your money's on one side of the ball. Flexen, where are you getting this money from, guy? You're already squeezed to the cap next year. That $20 million doesn't roll over. You got expiring back-ended contracts that are due. The Eagles have the most money due of any football team. It's over $300 million next year alone. How he's going to have to restructure a ton of deals. Okay? Slay's coming off the books. Okay. Bradbury as well. There's $25 million. All right. That's good. That's how you look at it. It's a good place to start erasing money. What are you going to do with Josh Sweat? You got to offer him a contract. You going to let him walk out the building? Are the Eagles short 29? His knees are shot? Or does this guy have a year where he has 14 sacks this year? You going to let him walk out the building? Like you did Hassan Reddick? Bond or Sweat? They're going to cost you money. Then you got the 50-year extension on Davis. What are you doing there? Slay, you're replacing? Okay. I don't have a problem with that. Guy's been in and out of the lineup all year long. He's not horrible. You probably could get something for him if you move him. Right? You feel comfortable. I mean, remember, you still got Sidney Brown. What are you going to do there at the slot? Are you going to move Cooper DeJean over to safety? Or are you going to move him over to corner? I don't think much of Kelee Ringo. I think he's okay. I think he's a good backup. Kelee Ringo's okay. I haven't seen anything that makes me go, he's really good. I watched DeJean play and I watched Q play. Nowhere in that room. I even watched Sidney Brown play. Nowhere in that room. Okay? Ringo's good? Yeah, but he's not good enough. Okay? I think he's a special teams guy and a quality player that you can have on your team. Do I think he's a starter? No, I do not. Now, could he improve with Vic? Maybe. Vic's working his magic on a lot. But I watched Ringo play yesterday, over pursuing. I didn't think he really wrapped up well. I thought he was okay. I don't really see anything. Maybe it's more reps. Getting him more reps would be probably the most important thing, but they should have did that in the preseason. I don't see it yet. Maybe, he gets better. I just don't see it. Now, maybe more playing time would help that. Okay? Seals Hurts needs to continue to improve completion percentage and not throw more. We need to implement the screen into the flats that Baltimore used yesterday, throwing 20 to 25 times per game. Jalen Hurts needs to complete over 70%. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're asking him to make limited passes. Those deep throws, in my opinion, that's what gets the Eagles in trouble. They don't need a deep throw when you got an offensive line and a running game that can run you off the field. They run you off the field, man. I mean, their offensive line runs you off the field. And I'll tell you this, if I were Howie Roseman, whatever happens to Saquon Barkley in the future, my number one priority is I want to have the best running back I can find from now on with the investments that I make in the O-line. I don't want Miles Sanders and I don't want DeAndre Swifts anymore. I want to have premier guys like Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. I want those dudes to run behind that O-line because to me, the last 2 years, you had lesser players running the football. Myles Garrett, DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift's a good player. Is he that player where he had 1,200? No, he's not that player. Do I think DeAndre Swift will ever get 1,200 yards again? I doubt it. I doubt it. Somebody like Bijan Robinson would be exceptional down the line to have in that Philly team. He's a great-looking player. Okay? He's a great-looking ball player. He is. He's a great-looking player. But from now on, I want a premier running back in Philly. If I'm going to spend that kind of O-line money, we're all across the board, that offensive line, man, it is one of the most expensive O-lines in all of football. 2 tackles making over $25 million. You got a guard making over $20 million. You're going to be paying another guard $15 million. You got a center who's on a second-year deal in his rookie contract. You got a lot of equity in that O-line. 2s and 3s and a ton of money. You better have the premier back instead of just the dude. The Eagles have had just the dude back there. To all future running backs coming into the draft for years, thank this year's running backs for making the NFL remember how valuable that position is. There's no doubt. Minnesota, Aaron Jones. Green Bay, Josh Jacobs. The two-headed monster in Detroit. What you got in Baltimore, what you have in Philly. There's no doubt about it. And look what you're seeing in San Francisco. They lose McCaffrey. San Francisco's not anywhere near the team that they were the last 3 years. They're not even remotely close to being that football team. So let me finish. I got Isaiah. This is my game balls. I got Isaiah Rodgers at 10. I got Nakobe Dean at 9. I got Nolan Smith at 8. I got the entire O-line, all 5 guys. At 7, Big Sills game balls. Number 6, I have Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat's playing great. He is absolutely playing great football. I mean, for all the things that people were trying to do in the offseason here, and trying to get rid of his ass. I mean, look at his numbers and what he's dealing with right now. Just in this ball game alone. Sweat had 8 tackles, had a sack. And right now, he's projected to get 53 tackles, 10 and a half sacks. A double-digit sack guy. That's impressive. That's great. That's getting it done. Okay? Sweat's having an amazing season right now. He's a really good player. High energy and physical. Number 5, Cooper DeJean. Yeah. I think he's made a massive impact on your football team and on defense. Dude, this kid's got an energy about him. I didn't think he was this good at Iowa. I thought he was a good player at Iowa. I put him on a couple All-American teams, and I kind of watched him a few times. I didn't see him a boatload of times. You know, as I told you, I vote on all the awards and shit, and I kind of heard by mouth. I watched an Iowa State game. I thought he was good in that. I think I watched an Iowa-Ohio State game, and I thought he was really good in that game. So I thought he had some potential. I didn't know if he was going to play on the numbers or if he would play in the slot or at the safety position. But he's definitely shown more as a pro so far. He looks better than he did in Iowa. Okay? He looks better. Because, again, his game tape didn't preclude him to be a first-rounder. There were games where he got lost in college. Okay? There were games he got lost. That's why he didn't go in the first round. You know? And so you watch him now. If I were to redraft him, I would say this. Where would you take Cooper DeJean? And where would you take Quinyon Mitchell? If I had to redraft those two guys again, I would take Cooper DeJean because he's a safety. Safeties don't get drafted high. 15. How about this? Guys, do me a favor. Where was Keith Hamilton? Where was he drafted from Notre Dame by Baltimore? Where was he drafted? When he came out of Notre Dame and he went to the Baltimore Ravens, because he's a safety, that would give me a little bit more of a barometer on where he was taken 14th. Kyle, 14th. That's that 14, 15. I was right. 14, 15. That's kind of where I would take him. Is somewhere in there. Okay. Now, Quinyon Mitchell. Where would I take him? Corner. He's had a great year. Hey, Kyle, where was Patrick Surtain drafted when he got to Denver? Where was he picked? Again, Toledo is going to play a factor in a draft, but after hindsight, CJ goes, he was drafted 9th. 9th? Is that right, Kyle? Is Q a 9th pick? Nine, 10? Sure. 9, 10. So why I'm saying this to you? Okay? You underdrafted for good players here. What's his name was taken like what, 21? Quinyon Mitchell. And Cooper was taken in the second round. You basically have two players that should be in the top 15 picks. That is how you draft. That's how you steal picks. That's big. Okay? Those guys are playing like top 15 picks right now. If you're Howie, you're doing this. Hey, man. Okay. You thought they were good, but not this good. I mean, you're blowing away your draft position right now. By the way, Jalen Carter, the 9th pick in the draft. What draft was he in? 23? Was Carter in the 23 draft? '23 draft. Where would I take him now? You see, Jesus criminy. Stroud, Young, Anderson, Richardson, Witherspoon, Paris, Tyree Wilson, Bijan. If I had to redraft Jalen Carter right now, I would take Stroud 1, between Robinson and Carter 2. Between Carter and Robinson. Dude, you improved your play and your value here. He's the 9th pick in the draft. And Tyree Wilson is an okay player. Paris Johnson's good, but not that like that. Devin Witherspoon, Seattle's good. Anthony Richardson, I don't know. Will's good. Was the defensive rookie of the year a year ago. He'd probably be taken after Carter. So the last 2 big draft picks, Jalen Carter should be the 3rd player taken or the 2nd player taken, whatever your appetite is. Q is a 10th pick, 9th pick. And DeJean's probably 14 or 15. That's why your defense is improving. Okay? I mean, that's getting it right. So he was projected 1, but remember, outside factors played in the draft. I forgot what the outside factors were. Sills losing Becton hurts, but O-line in better position to handle the loss with Steen and Keegan. Yeah, but dude, Steen and Keegan are good. Bob, I think they're good. But do I think they're better than Becton? Becton's going to make a Pro Bowl. I don't know if he's going to make the All-Pro team, but he's going to get consideration for it. He's knocking guys out in there. He's so freaking enormous, too. I mean, Mekhi Becton, when he gets rolling out of his stance like that, Barkley hides up behind him. They can't find him. They don't touch him for 5 yards. By the time he gets into the hole, dude, he's better than Isaac Seumalo. He's better than Isaac Seumalo. He's the best right guard you've had since I've covered you. By the way, I think Cam Jurgens has been an upgrade to Jason Kelce. I think he's been an upgrade. He's getting on second level. He's doing a great job in blocking and combo blocks in the middle. I think he's done a great job, man. He's healthier. He's younger. I mean, I think they got an injection at the center position. And that left tackle, left guard that you have there, I told you, it reminds me of Art Shell and Gene Upshaw. I mean, you could have those guys out there on the left side for the next decade. Those 2 guys. I mean, Landon Dickerson and Mulata could play the next 10 years out there. That's how good that and like you said, Bob, that's in what good shape you're in right now. It's pretty amazing. It really is. So my game balls. Isaiah Rodgers, 10, gets game ball 10. N'Kobe, game ball 9. Nolan Smith, game ball 8. 7, the entire Eagle O-line. Number 6, Josh Sweat. Number 5, Cooper DeJean. Number 4, Zach Bond is playing such great football. And I made an effort to watch Roquan Smith play. He's exceptional. And he's been doing it obviously longer. But boy, I'll tell you, Zach in open space, holy shit. New Orleans had this guy and didn't. You know what? Think about this. Zach Bond and Barkley were so undervalued in New York and New Orleans to the point of AJ being undervalued in Tennessee. Howie, the last couple of years with that kind of stuff, that's really great. Okay? That's really great. It's really great. Zach Bond is all over the field. He's a leader. He's playing super. Number 3, I got Jalen Carter. Do I think he's the all-pro D tackle? Dexter Lawrence is sensational. Do I think he's given himself a position to be the first team all-pro? You know what comes with first team all-pro? When you make that and you make first team all-pro, it's like a $500,000 bonus. I mean, making the Pro Bowl is a great honor. Making the all-pro team is a whole different world because you're the best of the best in both conferences. Number 2, you know, A.J. Brown didn't have a gigantic game, but he did. He's just, you cannot get him on the ground. I mean, anytime my daughter was watching the game with me, and she's like, Dad, they just throw the ball to the guy with the pink shoes, and he never misses. And he goes, and they can't defend him. I go, I know. He catches football at will against the Ravens, I thought. I think you could have threw the ball any amount of times to him, and he would have caught it. I didn't think the Ravens had an answer for him. Okay, I mean, he's really a good-looking player. And I got Barkley, number 1. Saquon Barkley has made the biggest impact at running back I have ever seen a running back in my lifetime make on a team. I'm trying to think. Jerome Bettis, when he went from the Rams to the Steelers, made a huge impact. I'm trying to think of another running back that has made that big of an impact on an NFL team, going from one team to another and changing and transforming them into being a running team. That's a great one, MG. Marshall Faulk going from the Colts to the Rams changed the Rams. You know what, guys? That's probably, and by the way, McCaffrey to the Niners. This just looks different. This just looks different because it's dominating. Yeah, but when Dickerson went to the Colts, Riggins from the Jets to the Skins was awful impressive. Nice, Steve. That's right. When Riggins went from the Jets to the Washington Redskins, that transformed the Pigs and the Hogs into being a dominant O-line once they got him in the building. It's a great take. But Barkley, he's right up there with all these guys. I've never seen anything like it, really. I mean, Marshall Faulk to the Rams from the Colts is a big one. Because that would end up in a Super Bowl. Well, Marshawn Lynch to who? The Raiders? I don't think he transformed the Raiders. You know, I'm talking about a guy leaving a place and going to a new place and then turning that franchise around like Bettis did with the Steelers. Okay? Because you know why? He did not show any of this in New York. He did not show any of this. Lynch from Buffalo to Seattle. Buffalo to Seattle. You guys are right. Not the one to the Raiders, okay? Well, look at what we're talking about here. Marshawn Lynch, John Riggins, Jerome Bettis. Dickerson, to some extent, didn't really transform the Colts. And Ricky Waters is not the player that those guys are that I'm mentioning, including Barkley. Okay? I mean, this might be the greatest free agent signing Howie Roseman has ever had. Hey, guys, I was going to kind of save this one, but let's do it before we get Zander on. You think Barkley's a bigger sign than T.O. was? Both had impacts on the quarterback. Now, Owens led your team to a Super Bowl. Guys, hit the like button. Give me a running total where we are on the like button. Owens, that thing ended in a Super Bowl. Okay? And Terrell Owens was spectacular that year. He really was. He was spectacular. I'm trying to think. 350? Thank you, guys. 350? I'd like to see if we can get to 500 by the top of the hour. I think Barkley's got to be. And hey, T.O. was sensational that year. The 04 season, he was sensational. And recency bias, you're right. And we know the story with Owens. Okay, we know the story with Owens, what happened. I mean, he was great in the Super Bowl. He was great that whole year. The team won the NFC. Is this going to be the same thing? See, I think Barkley's legacy is yet to be written. If he has a great year and they don't take it to at least the Super Bowl or at least to an NFC Championship game, it's not going to be in that conversation. Owens would still have made a bigger impact because Owens helped get a team to a Super Bowl. So it's still yet to be determined, in my opinion. Yeah, I got Barkley number one. So here's my game balls. Isaiah Rodgers at 10. Nakobe Dean at 9. Nolan Smith at 8. The entire Eagle O-line at 7. Josh Sweat at 6. Cooper DeJean at 5. There's just something about that kid. I just absolutely, every time I watch him play, man, he is just absolutely great. Guys, please hit the like button here. Number 4, Zach Bond. Number 3, Jalen Carter. Number 2, A.J. Brown. And number 1, Barkley. Those are my game balls. And what we saw. Cooper was fantastic. Just really great. LaDainian Tomlinson to the Jets. I don't remember him being that great with the Jets. Still, they have a great offensive line. Maybe any running back would have been great. I don't think so because you had any running back the previous 2 years. Swift was a little above being average, and you had Miles Sanders, who had 1 year like that. And by the way, once again, Saquon Barkley never showed any of this in New York. Never showed any of this outside of maybe his rookie year. And he was there 6 years. So he's never at any place ever showed this, that he was having and had this kind of ability to carry a football. And by the way, the O-line and him are matching up perfectly like Emmett and the O-line in Dallas did. Okay? Honestly. Yeah, it's yet to be determined, Anthony, on how this thing ends here. And this has been part of my takeaway. By the way, Zander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. And at 4:30, Gary Cobb, please hit the like button. Samuel, what do you mean by no Goddard? I thought Goddard played well. He had 3 catches for like 30-some yards in there, got a touchdown catch. I thought he showed a little bit. Please tell me he's not hurt again. I'm sick and tired of that guy. If Dallas Goedert is hurt, I can't wait to move off of him in the offseason. I'm tired of that guy being injured. He brings nothing to a football team. Hey, he's hurt again? Yeah, Pat goes like this. He did have a touchdown. Yeah, Pat, no one said he's not good. Pat, he's always hurt. Now he'll miss more significant time. How do you build an offense around a tight end who's never there? I mean, how do you build an offense around a guy who's never there? Was he going to play 12 games this year? Year before he played less? He misses an extended period of – he misses 25% of his career every year. Do you understand that? I mean, it's time to move off. Dude, and by the way, what's hard about it is that nobody thinks he sucks. I don't think he sucks. I don't think Dallas Goedert sucks. That's not what I'm saying here. Here. So here's Dallas Goedert. So he's hurt again. God knows how many. We'll wait and hear what John McMullen says. So right now, he's played in 9 ball games for the Eagles. They've played what? 11? So he's missed 2. Now he looks like he's going to miss more. Last year, he missed 3. The year before that, he missed 5. The year before that, he missed 3. And the year before that, in 25, he was split in time or had some time with Zach Ertz. So it's hard to sit there. But since he's been a starter, he's missed about 4 or 5 games a year as an average. I mean, you think you can build your offense around a guy you're not sure is going to be in your lineup? Right? So here, get this. Does this hurt the passing game even more now? Yeah. Tight end will be out. Devontae will probably be back. But now you're going to have to try to – again, you got Carolina, though. Then the last test will probably be the Steelers. I mean, you really don't have any other – 15-2 is not out of the realm of possibility here. The Steeler game is going to be there, but I think you're better in Pittsburgh. I mean, I don't really see anything here. And you're still going to be fighting for home field advantage. It would not shock me if Philadelphia wins the home field because Detroit has a lot of games left of significance here. Okay? But that's right. Steelers' last game is truly the last competitive. Okay? Absolutely. Goddard, Maddox, Bradbury, Slay, Van Sumeren gone next year. Sounds about right. Seals, they reported the injury was very minor during the game. Now indications he's going to miss time yet. That's terrible. Okay? That's terrible that you end up missing that kind of time. Calcaterra is the answer. I think you need a tight end in the draft. Damn, Goddard probably broke his knee, a regular ass tackle where he got the first down across the middle of the field. So also have ass lead ligaments. Dude, it's always something with him. She's taking Commanders? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's still a rigged. They already know who's going to win the Super Bowl. Like, you probably believe that no one landed on the moon either, too, right? That the world's flat. What's your name, Kyrie Irving? Detroit plays Green Bay, the Vikings, and the Bills. They can lose any one of those games or all 3 of them. I wanted the tight end Pittsburgh got last year. Wish we got him. There's a lot of great tight ends that are coming out of college. Okay? that kid Brock Bowers I think that kid Brock Bowers with the Raiders might actually be the best tight end in football right now. Just tuning in, what did I miss? Hour and 30 minutes. Okay. I think he's the best tight end. I saw him play on Thanksgiving. I can't believe how great he is. That kid from Georgia is absolutely sensational. Okay? Absolutely sensational. God, I love it. You notice one guy I didn't bring up. So let me before we get Zander on here. By the way, please hit the like button. You guys have been absolutely great. Thank you very much. Give us a total right now on our likes. What'd you make of Jalen Hurts' game? What'd you make of Jalen Hurts' game? C plus? Mid? Typical Hurts game to me? C plus? Had an efficient game. Let me before I can get Zander on here, the president of the Jalen Hurts fan club, I just want to make sure we get that here. Hurts has me worried, says Joe. Well, before we get the commissioner of the fan club, and when Zander was down in Alabama, man, he used to hand out leaflets. Don't forget to vote for the Southeastern Conference Player of the Year, Jalen Hurts, because that's my boy. And he's now the official Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, president of the fan club. So make sure you guys hit the like button. Give me a total on that. So here's what Jalen Hurts is now trending towards. 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 101 quarterback rating, 68.4 in percentage, 628 yards rushing, and 12 touchdowns. All right. I mean, it's 3,500 yards. Here, let me just give you this here. Let me show you these guys. Burrow's on pace for 47-27, 43-7, 107-4. I get it. 67 completion percentage. Lamar, 43-02, 38-4, 116 quarterback rating. Baker Mayfield, 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, 101 rating, 70 completion percentage. How about Jared Goff, 4,400 yards, 31 TDs, 109, 3, and 72 completion percentage. Josh Allen, 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 picks. And how about this one here? This goes into Zander. Here's Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is on pace for 3,686 passing yards. Jalen Hurts is on pace for 3,533. Both guys are on pace for 20 touchdowns. One guy's on pace for 8 interceptions, the other 7. They look like the same guy to me. Like the same guy. Woo! How you doing? All right, don't forget,